Rowan, just first of all, just give us Justin Sangari, just talk to us a bit about him. When did he first sort of appear on your radar?
Good few months ago, I was doing some research around the competition itself and sort of identifying where I felt we needed to add. He's a big body with some leg speed and can bend the line and create some second phase with some offloads. So he's of that sort of 24, 25, 26. We don't have many guys around that age group, so I'm also looking for that kind of stage of career to complement what we've got in experience and in youth.
It's obviously a change of country for him. Was it an easy sort of job to tempt him over?
We had a few good, really positive conversations via Zoom, and I've actually crossed paths a little bit via social media and Zoom in previous years, actually, through some mutual friends and colleagues and that sort of stuff. So we kind of knew a little bit about each other. We had some good conversations about the club and my thoughts on how to play in rugby league and in general, and how I felt I could help him go to another level. So we had some really good chats, and obviously there was a big decision to be made about changing countries and playing for another team. It's hard to move from what's comfortable sometimes, but it's a great show of courage and ambition as well.
And you alluded to it a few moments ago. He's more than just a big body, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. He's got good awareness of what's necessary to play well at the top level, and on both sides of the ball. He understands what's required of him. I think he needs some more experience and some opportunity, and that's something we can give him.
That first piece of the jigsaw then for next year, I think you've said in the past there's not going to be a big turnover. How many more would you expect to sort of drop into place?
Not many.
What about the squad then this week? You still know 6, 7 and 9. Could you just give us an insight into when you expect those guys to be back in contention?
Kruise has actually undergone some sort of further testing and consultations, and he actually has a stress fracture in his foot. So he's going to be a significant period of time there. He'll be 6 to 12 weeks, somewhere in there, I'd imagine. Austin and Caesar aren't too far away. They could be back in the next week or two, but we'll make sure they've done the necessary amount of work to keep themselves on the field once they're back on the field.
How big a blow is that then regarding Kruise?
It was always a possibility based on, the soreness of his foot a couple of weeks ago, and we've been very cautious with what we've done. And it was still a bit sore, so we went some further testing, and, we haven't progressed him because it's been a bit sore. So, it's disappointing for Kruise. He's had some really big moments, really big performances this season, and his aim will be to be back for the last couple of rounds, if at all possible.
Yeah, was there a fear that might be his season done?
At this stage, there's no absolute timeline there. He's sort of 2 weeks into his recovery, so he may well be back in time. But those injuries will require further scans and a really cautious approach to progression.
On the subject of injuries, and what's the prognosis on Max Simpson and Sam Walters?
Max had he's had a scan, and he's got a lateral ligament tear, so he's going to undergo some visits to a specialist and work out what the course of action is there. But there's a chance that he'll need some surgery.
And Big Sam?
Sam's got a unique sort of injury to his knee. It may be a short-term injury, or it could be a little bit more of a medium-term one. Again, he's going to undergo some a visit to the consultant later in the week and get a course of action from there.
When you say unique, is it something you've not seen before?
It's something that most medical people don't see very often.
What's he done?
I'm not going to attempt to recite the actual injury. It's just it's not one of the common ones. It's not a medial. It's not an ACL. It's not a PCL. It's there's something else there going on. So that's why he's going to see someone that knows best.
On the plus side, Liam and Zach, are they able to come back in this week?
Yeah, they've trained well yesterday and then again today, so they should be fine.
And how much of a boost is it to have Harry Newman back in contention?
Yeah, Harry's been jumping at the bit. He was, obviously back a few weeks ago and looking very good. But he's trained really well, and he's had his eyes on the prize, which is Thursday night at Headingley.
Talk about Wigan in a second, but how's the heat at the moment? The high temperatures impacted on preparation?
It's a bit cooler than Toulouse, actually. So it's been a welcome change getting back to Leeds. But today we just trained a little bit earlier than normal. Not a great deal. It's another good opportunity to get out in the sun and train in the conditions that we still have 2 more trips to Perpignan to go. So those opportunities to train in the sun are something that we kind of all enjoy to some extent. So that hasn't really impacted. It's just a matter of being a bit more conscious of what the guys do for their non-training time and not spending too much time in the sun.
First home game for 62 days on Thursday. How welcome is it to be back at Headingley?
Yeah, definitely feels like a long time. I think we've played 8 games since I've been here, and we've only had 1 at home. So, I'm certainly excited by it, and I know the players. The moment that we got off the bus the other day when we got back into Leeds, the boys were all buzzing about the prospect of and the opportunity of playing, such a big team at home.
Just lastly from me, Rohan, what do you expect from Wigan? How do you gauge them at the moment?
Oh, they're a high-flying team, performing well. They've got great blend of experience and some young players and some real strike and some tough, hard-working players. They've got a good blend, and they know who they are as a team, and they're consistent. So we're going to have to be very good to challenge them.
Obviously, you brought Yusuf Aidin in last week. Is there a chance of any more business in or out before the deadline? I think it's the start of next week, isn't it? The deadline for recruitment this year. Yeah,
we're still looking. There's nothing imminent, but there's still an opportunity and a possibility of some movement.
In terms of Aidin, obviously it was a short-term loan, wasn't it, initially? Is there scope to extend that? Have you had those discussions yet?
I haven't had those discussions.
Okay. In terms of Wigan, where do you see their strengths? Because we've watched them transition from a team who really struggled last year to a team that have obviously won the Challenge Cup and are pushing for success on all fronts. Where do you see their strengths?
Across the board, I think they can beat teams by outworking and just being real gritty and hardworking and kick and chase. They can do that, but they can certainly they can score long range tries and threaten you from nothing. With French and Field particularly, but they're a strong team across the board. So that's a sign of a good team that they can win different ways.
How do you prepare for a duo like French and Field, given how one of them scored 7 tries in a game last week?
Yeah, well, we're going to identify the positions on the field or the situations that they like to create for him and try and limit them or be prepared when he does get the ball where he wants it as best we can.
Just finally from me, obviously it's very disappointing about Kruise, but I guess it opens the door for someone else. It's a chance for Corey Johnson to sort of have some regular minutes, isn't it, and really stake a claim for a prolonged place in the team.
Yeah, we've got good options there. Jared O'Connor's done a really good job there and feel like he can be a utility sort of 13-9 going forward. Brad Dwyer's really played in some good form in recent times as well. So he's a veteran guy that can cover for Kruise there. And obviously, as you mentioned, Corey is an aspiring young hooker and look forward to him getting more opportunity.
Is the door still ajar for Brad to maybe get a new deal, Rohan, or is he signed somewhere else? Is it all sorted in that regard?
We haven't made an offer to Brad, and I'm not sure what his what he's done with his own. He's free to do what he wants to do at this point in time.
Just wondered how the players are looking after all the travel to Toulouse and then a game in that intense heat, the travel back, a short turnaround. Has everybody recovered fairly well?
Yeah, if training this morning was anything to go by, there was good energy and good vibe about it. We took a lot of belief and sort of the boys were proud of their effort as such a young group going to Toulouse. We certainly got something out of that. That were extreme conditions that we played in, and people kept turning up and played with good spirit. So there's a good vibe off the back of off the trip on the weekend.
Obviously, it's not ideal. Kids like Jackson Field and Max Simpson coming in at 17 because of injuries to a team that's missing key players. But do you think this experience is going to be handy in the future for them? I say they're both very young players.
Yeah, they're such level-headed, respectful, and quite mature young men. So putting themselves through some hard work there and extreme conditions. They were grateful for the opportunity and they gave it a good crack, and they certainly contributed to us being competitive and not too far away from getting a result at the back end of that game.
Were you pleased with the way you came on quite strongly in the second half?
Yeah, I thought we finished the game with really good energy. The players have embraced some things we've been doing in our preparation to best equip ourselves for the heat. They've really embraced that, and over the weekend they saw it as opportunity rather than how hot is it going to be. They were more looking forward to putting themselves to the test, and whilst we didn't execute some things as well as we would have liked, the effort and the attitude was certainly there, and we played with good spirit.